He's mad that he can't have you. So he's punishing you, even projecting onto you why he can't have you. The number one reason is himself. Himself. He is holding himself back. Especially if he has a fearful, avoidant attachment style, this could be in his way. It could be a block. It could be like a fence that he just can't climb over, but he wants to. But instead of taking ownership or understanding how to deal with it, he takes it out on you. He wants you to feel just as badly as he feels. You're an amazing person. Amazing. So he really can't find anything on you. Like he can't say, well, you're just so messy, or you're so terrible with money, or you're so unlikable. But he can't really find any major thing. So then he finds tiny reasons to stomp away, to be angry, to be frustrated with you. He's making up reasons because he doesn't have a really good reason, but he knows that he's dealing with his own fears, his own confusion, his own ego, and you haven't done anything wrong. But if you're not careful, you will start to turn that on yourself. And that's what I want you to be majorly aware of. Do not take someone else's junk and let them convince you that you're the problem when they haven't dealt with their fearful side and they haven't dealt with their avoidant side very well. And so it's you're the problem. No, you're not the problem. And I'm not saying that we can't all self-analyze or that some of us are perfect and we have no flaws. But when it starts to get really, really petty, be careful of that. This is a person who wants you, but they can't have you. Their self-esteem may not be on the level that they feel like they can even deal or be with somebody of your caliber. Fearful avoidance can exude personality. They can be amazing. They can be very attractive people. So ask yourself a very difficult, tough, but fun question. Are you his safe choice, or are you their dream top of the line choice, the person that they've always wanted to be with? When fearful avoidant gets in too deep, that's when they can flip things. That's when they can start to run. That's when they can start to freak out, shut down. Things were going great. You were having so much fun. And now they're telling you, oh, you don't have to share the things with me that you do. What? What do you mean I don't have to share with you the things that I do? We've been sharing the things that we do. Isn't that part of a relationship? Things like that, where it's like, okay, because they're starting to freak out. So the things that you used to share with them are the things that reeled them in, that made them feel connected to you. So now they're trying to disconnect. So it's freaking them out. But are you their top choice, or are you the safe choice? I think a lot of times a fearful avoidant can end up long term with a safe choice because there's no challenge. They don't have to go so deep into their feelings where they start freaking out that you're going to abandon them, that this person that I am madly in love with might leave me. I can't handle it. So it's easier to go with somebody that's just bread and butter, super simple. If you're one of those people that has been hurt a lot in love, it might be because you are a top-notch choice, and that is a trigger for people like fearful avoidance. And it's not that they don't want you. They want you really badly, but they can go in so deep that they can't get control of their feelings and their fears, and they get so overwhelmingly out of control that the only thing they can do is escape. And you probably are going to see men escaping more than women, but you will see women with fearful avoidance become way too clingy. Sometimes people who are really attractive and they have the personality to match, the intellect, they're compassionate, they're good people, people may be shocked that they get abandoned quite a bit because people can't handle them. And I know this sounds like bragging, but it could be because they serve as a trigger. Like they are the ideal. So they may end up settling for somebody that is a very safe choice instead of someone who is their ideal match. Or they may stay single a lot longer because they know that they have an ideal match and people just aren't meeting that standard. I know it sounds braggadocious, but that also means that those people may A, be lacking in skills, B, as far as dating, B, they may lack confidence. So people are projecting this perfect image onto them, which is too much pressure because they actually can feel very insecure because people cannot sustain a relationship with them sometimes. Like they look at them like they're too perfect. Like, not that they're like perfect, like, oh my gosh, I'm prim and proper and I'm just the perfect little queen. Not in that sense. They might still have a lot of personality. They might be a lot of fun. They might be very attractive, but they have gotten hurt a lot more because it's very confusing when someone pulls away from them because the other person might feel like they need to be perfect or the stakes are really high or what am I going to do to keep this person, and are there going to be other men looking at her, checking her out? Can I handle that? And the fearful avoidant will start to lose a feeling of control with them and work themselves out of the relationship and move on to someone else because she's just too perfect for me. I know, braggadocious, but it's the truth. You could create scenarios where the person feels like they're in way too deep for you. So if you've been rejected a lot, it could be because you are the ideal mate and people make assumptions about you, not knowing that you need tender loving care just like everyone else does. So things were going great. You were vibing, you were connecting with this person. Everything is just going well. They make you feel good. You're enjoying their company. You have a good time together. It's just fun. It feels so safe. It feels so good. Like finally. And then all of a sudden, they start pulling back or they start taking little punches or they start to reject you. And then there are things that are just not making sense. So then you start feeling confused because you're like, okay, we had a pattern and a rhythm that was working. And now I'm getting confused. I don't know how to act. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I am totally confused. It could be because they are in too deep and they are waking up to their triggers. So, a couple of quick things that you can do because I know you're going to want to do something. I'm going to tell you something to do that you've heard before and it's very difficult to do, and that is pull back. And you might say, I'm too scared to pull back because I can feel him pulling back, and that means that he might want me to pull back. He might like that, and he might run away, and now we're disconnected altogether. I know that's a risk, but when somebody, especially if they're a fearful avoidant, they're in that state, they're in an avoidant state, and you keep coming closer, closer, closer to them, they are going to start running. So you want to give them enough space to think through their feelings, their emotions, to get a grip, to get a handle, to see that you are safe, that you can be consistent, but you're gonna pull back to give them a space. Number two, it's so that you are teaching them that they can't just treat you any kind of way. So if they're taking little small digs, small punches at you, you find them, you see them making excuses to diss you, I don't know what a better word is, or to withdraw from you or confront you in gentle ways about silly things, and you're like, this is so confusing and crazy, then pulling back will show them that I don't care who you are. I don't care how amazing you are, how sexy, how appealing, how yummy. I don't care how desperate I am. I am not going to just let you make little insults or rejections and not make any changes to my behavior. And yes, it feels like it's not authentic and it doesn't make sense. And now you're game playing, but what else can you do? Basically, you want to try to slow down or shut down the trigger state that you are both in. Because as long as he's pulling away, you're going to be clingy, you're going to be coming too close. That's going to keep him scared and moving away from you. It's not going to work. That pattern is going to happen until you end up not liking each other, or not that you won't like each other, but you'll end up breaking up, and it could be a turbulent breakup. So if you can put a stop to it, the best thing you can do is try pulling away, because you want to give him the space to train his body to find a relaxed state again, because that's what he's desperately trying to do without you saying, it's over, I'm done with you, I'm never speaking to you again. Let's see if we can help him figure out how to get back into a balance, and then he's going to feel so proud of himself. It's going to help him to build confidence. Just like when you're teaching a kid to read and write, you have to step back and allow them to do it. You can't read everything for them. They have to do it in order to learn it, because you want to help him to become unafraid. You want to slow that down. And that's the best way that you can do it. And it's not by being mean or, I think there's a little gameplay in every relationship, to be honest. So you want to figure out, okay, what move can I make? How can I show some distance without it being so extreme that I'm going to make myself not speak to him for a whole week? It could be other things, like just little subtle, let me give him a break. He needs a break so that he can stop and think things through and get a handle and a grip, because he's feeling out of control. And so he's acting out, because relationships can be scary for a lot of people, because you can get so hurt in them. One of you has to get into the control seat, and that person has to be you right now. So you've got to be cool. You've got to work out your anxiety by yourself. If you need to cry, if you need to write in your journal, if you need to talk to a friend, do that elsewhere. But you want to show him right now that you are in a sense of control by being cool, calm, and collected, and let him work through the stuff. Because if you're both acting out, if you allow him his triggers to make you become triggered, then you're never going to get out of that state. You're just going to activate dysfunction. So be cool, be calm, and let's see if he can untangle himself. If somebody is showing signs of being fearful avoidant and they're in their avoidant state, what else can you do but to figure out creative ways to step back? So it might not just be like, oh, I'm just going to ignore all his phone calls, or I'm just going to, it's just change the pattern for a little bit. Change up something that you're doing. Maybe you do overshare normally and tell him everything about your day, and this time you're like, my day went quite well. If you don't mind, I'd like to go and take care of a few things and maybe we can reconnect later. Your normal pattern with a man might be you give him things that he can do that are tangible, that make him feel needed. Like, can you change this light bulb for me? So you might want to pull back from that as well. And then after he's had some space and you feel him coming back to himself, then you can go back to your normal pattern. This is the stage where breakups happen. This is what we want to prevent. We want to do everything we can to try to keep that from happening. So you're going to have to practice some skills that aren't going to feel comfortable to you because you just want to be yourself. You just want to go in a natural pattern that feels right, that feels comfortable. And for some people, that will work. But when you're dealing with a fearful, avoidant attachment style, that may not always work because they are triggered in and out of two different states. Fearful avoidant may also start to try to bait you. Do not be baited. That means that they are doing things subconsciously and consciously to try to get you to fight them so that they can break up with you. If they're going to break up with you, it's going to be by their own merit. And I'm not saying that you can't get a little feisty back if they're taking little digs or little punches and you kind of give it back to them a little bit. I'm not saying that you can't do that at all. But what I am saying is you want to be careful not to get into a screaming match or to blow up or to act a fool with them. Don't do that because that may be what they're trying to do so that they can get off the hook, go into their avoidance state, feel relief, blame it on you. No, don't let him get you into the lane where he gets to say, see, I knew she was crazy. Because sometimes we as women don't know how to fight, and you don't want to be falling into his traps because men are savvy when it comes to game playing. They know how to make moves. They understand women very, very well. So just be careful not to fall into any baits where you start to look like the bad guy, like you're so awful, terrible, difficult to deal with. You can also be working on strengthening yourself so that in case you need to be the one to say, I'm done, then you'll have the strength to do it. These states can also be extremely damaging to your self-esteem if you're not careful. So you want to strengthen yourself during this time. You want to work on being yourself, being your fun-loving, wonderful, happy, enjoyable, feisty, whoever you are. Be that. Do not allow him to change you or make you shut down because that can also sabotage the relationship because I don't know what I did wrong. I don't know why he's pulling back. So I'm going to be a quieter person from now on. I'm not going to be so loud. That could cause problems too. Dating is for getting to know another person. So he needs to get to know who you really are and so he can see if you're who he likes. So as best as you can, as upset as you might be, try to be yourself. Remember, the goal of dating, part of it is to see if you can make this relationship work long term. So when he's in his fear state, you want to work on being in your confident state. So that means working it out. You want to tell yourself that you are beautiful, that you are amazing, you're marvelous. You might even want to go into a little bit of arrogance. I hate to say that, but it's almost like you have to push past, like overdo it in order to get to the right state. Because when somebody is fearful avoidant and they're flipping in and out of fear and then clingy or we're good, now we're bad, it could do some damage to you. So aim for extra high with I like me, whether you like me or not. I'm happy with me. I'm a great catch. I have many amazing things about myself. And if you don't get it together, I am going to find me somebody else. Okay. So you have to kind of get yourself in a positive state regardless of his state, just to see if you can work things out. When somebody's moods are shifting way up and way down, it can make you feel like you've done something wrong, like he hates you, he doesn't like you anymore, and you want him to keep liking you. So that could be super upsetting. And it may not have anything to do with that. It's his algorithms, his personal algorithms that are going bananas. It's not you per se, but you don't want to keep his algorithms triggered. You want to help him to calm those down by being in your confident, I like me and I'm gonna be me. Now I might pull back a little bit to give you some space to work it out. However, I am not changing into a different person because you're going through whatever you're going through. And should he get out of that state, which he will, he doesn't want to come out of it to find someone new, to find someone that he's never met before. That's not going to work either. So be you. He was hanging in there with you this long because of that. Having a fearful avoidant attachment style can be tough. So you want to show compassion, or at least, even if you're not showing compassion, have compassion in the back of your mind, because if you're being too overly over the top compassionate, that could be a trigger if he's in that state. So just in the back of your mind, think, I'm going to have compassion and allow him to work through this, because it's tough. It's not fun. It doesn't feel good. It's not something that they're doing on purpose to make anyone feel bad. It's just their internal makeup. And you could be the very person that gives them the strength and the confidence and the stability to help them work through it. At the same time, you're working on your confidence because you're setting things up so that later, if things don't work out, he will say, I lost a good thing, and vice versa if you're a man. Well, this is the stage before a breakup, so that's what we're trying to keep from happening. And remember, the problem is he's in too deep and it's starting to freak him or her out. Remember, you are a ruby, and you want to quietly thank him in your mind, if nothing else, for all that you learned and the growth that you're making, because every relationship is a great place to learn and become a better and more healed person. And I'm sure there have been some amazing things that you have already gained from this dating relationship. And if for some reason it doesn't work out, you want to channel your energy into someone who deserves it. Sometimes when we love someone, we let them get away with more. So it's okay to check him a little bit, or her a little bit. If you're a guy dating a girl, it's okay to check them a little bit if they are getting a little wild with their comments or insults or whatever. It's okay to let somebody know what your boundaries are and that that's not cool. I'll keep this video somewhere handy so that if you're going through something like this can help you work through it. It can help you to work out your junk so that you don't sabotage your own relationship because either you're fearful avoidant or someone you're dating is fearful avoidant. So I did write a book about love. Didn't realize at the time that I was fearful avoidant, but I wrote the book desperately trying to help myself because I knew something was a little bit, I didn't understand that that was my attachment style. And so I think it will really help you as well. You also don't want to be dating a narcissist, somebody who's super toxic, who's doing things to literally upset and make you feel terrible about yourself. That's a whole different ball game. So if you read my book, The Workplace Narcissist, I'm going to teach you all about narcissism. And you might just have a very strong-willed person in your life. And that's why my book, From ENFJ with Love, will help you understand the 16 Myers-Briggs types, because everybody's personality is different. So something that you are deeming a dysfunction could just be a trait in the person's personality. So read about those. It will help you and it's super fun. And be sure to like this video, share it with people that you think it will help. And I love you guys for going on this journey with me. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that I may have missed or that I got wrong. And I'll see you on the next one, lovely people. Bye.